Hey Zed Heads, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
And this is the Walking Dead cast episode 154. And I wanted to remind you guys that the Walking Dead movie site tour, we may get our own special little tour for Walking Dead cast listeners if you're planning on going to Walker Stalker Atlanta. The special tour for us is Thursday, October 16th, sometime during the day, probably in the afternoon. And so I need to know as soon as possible who's interested in that because we need at least 20 people to go. So, and then after that, space is limited. So if you are interested, go to facebook.com/deadcast and I posted up there. You can put a reply there, or if you can't find it or just want to email, you can send me an email at jason@walkingdeadcast.com and let me know if you want to join in on that. Those tours, are really cool. You get to go around and see different places where they filmed, and they have from what I've heard of people I know who've taken it, it's a lot of fun.
Do they get to go to Sonoy, see the Woodbury in Sonoy?
Yeah, there's two different tours, and one of them is more in that area. So I don't know which one we would do, but I think so, yeah.
Gosh, I hope you also get to see Terminus.
I know, yeah. I think you do get to see that. And I'm excited because I'm going to go a few days early because Jenny and Nico are going to be, well, I'm taking Nico, but we're all going to Georgia. Nico's going to be at Walker Stalker Con, by the way.
Awesome.
And so I might take Jenny out to Sonoy and just check it out,
Oh, it's so pretty. It's such a neat little town. Yeah, you should definitely do that.
I'm going to send in my measurements to the extras company and try to be a zombie again when I go out there, just for the hell of it.
Of course you are.
I'd say there's a 0.75% chance I'll be successful.
0.75.
It's pretty good.
Wow.
It's better than the lottery. So wish me luck, everybody.
Good luck.
Anything else you want to say before we get started?
Nope, let's do it, man.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay, we're getting back into the swing of things here. This is our Deadcast Top 5. This week it's our top 5 highlights for Season 4, Episodes 1 through 8. So this is our rewatch. This is our Season 4 rewatch, Part 1. We'll do Part 2 next time. And I rewatched them all within a few days. And I totally enjoyed watching them again, as I figured I would, back to back. Because I feel like this whole season was kind of like a long movie, the way Scott Gimple put it together, and tied everything together. He really did a good job, and him and his writers, of setting every intention right at the beginning and then dropping little clues and connecting everything together.
Yep, exactly.
You thought that too?
I did, and I did it like you. I watched it over a weekend, and I did it sort of back to back to back, and spun through the commercials. Mm-hmm. So it was easy to watch the whole thing. It was great. Mm-hmm. I liked it much better the second time.
You did, and it was already your favorite.
No, the second half was my favorite.
Oh, but I mean, Season 4 was already your favorite, but you liked the first half better the second time. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Season 4 is my favorite season so far. I mean, I'll just say it's my favorite season, but I like the second half because I think the second half was wonderful. But the first half was really, really good, and I really liked it more the second time I did it.
Second time through.
So,
cool.
Yeah,
the only thing I didn't like as much, and this is nothing bad about the show, but because I know who makes it and who doesn't, the sickness wasn't as exciting, and so I was a little bored at times, whereas when I first watched it and I wasn't sure if Glenn was going to die or Sasha, I was much more engaged.
Right. I know. Well, that's the thing. And in fact, can I just jump into my
sure, go for it.
Number 5? All right. So my number 5 is that the process of the rewatch itself, that it's so interesting to see the storylines from the very start through the eyes of somebody who already knows the outcome. It's great. It's the really cool thing about doing a rewatch is you can see how they construct the storyline, and you can see how they set up things and they sort of build upon it from the very, very start. It was really cool. It was really also pretty sad to see the doomed characters, Lizzie and Mika and Patrick and Karen and I can't remember the name of the governor's girlfriend right now and her daughter, but to see all those people and to know that they're doomed. Oh, it was hilarious. I mean,
Herschel.
not hilarious. Herschel, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What
we'll
about
talk about
the governor himself? You didn't feel bad about him, right?
No, but it was so fun to sort of see him knowing that he's going to get his.
He's going to lose it. Yeah, I mean, well, when I first saw the governor episodes, we already knew that he killed everybody in Woodbury. It starts right after that where he just mowed everybody down. So already that he's pretty much beyond redemption. But still, after watching those episodes where people argued that they were trying to make us feel sympathetic for him, I didn't necessarily think that, but I did feel a little more sympathetic towards him. But this time, having that image in my mind of him chopping up Herschel's neck, then it was even less like, nope, not going there. You're an asshole.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And he didn't even do it cleanly. He had to take 2 strikes.
That's one thing I didn't remember. In my mind, he chopped it clean off with one hit. And no, that's not what happened. He chopped it like a couple inches. And then once all the fighting broke out, he came back later and hacked it the rest of the way off. Why would you do that? Why do you even need to do that?
Because you're a jerk.
Just because he's filled with rage, I guess.
Yes.
Have you ever done something where you get so mad that you like break something? I think I might have done something like that before. I'm not sure. Maybe nothing important.
No, I've banged on the ground in frustration.
Oh yeah,
that's actually.
I had a friend who
cathartic.
broke his fist punching a wall.
I think
it was a friend. Okay, it wasn't me.
Of course, a friend.
Okay.
One last little thing about this. Full disclosure, I did have to kind of spin past some scenes that I couldn't watch again because they were too painful. And I have to say, at the very end, the fight at the prison was really painful for me to see. And I couldn't watch Herschel be killed again because I love Herschel and it just filled me with pain. So I had already seen it. I knew it. And I couldn't watch it again. So I spun past that.
That's okay. That's part of your charm.
Aw, thanks, baby.
Okay. My turn, right? So my number 5, I'm doing the same thing I did last year. I went back and checked my notes. I did just interesting things, or things that I found interesting the second time around in retrospect after having seen the whole season, which means that there's a few things from every episode, which means this point is going to take me about 30 minutes. No, it won't take that long, but just a few things. So first episode, 30 Days Without an Accident. I didn't notice before. Tyrese hates fence duty, but only volunteered to do that because Karen was always out there and he wanted to get to know her.
And he was pretty clear with that. He told me,
well, after.
Why I do it.
Yeah. I mean, after it worked and they hooked up and then he admitted it. That was interesting. I thought it was interesting that Bob Stuckey's first scene is convincing Sasha to let him go on a run with him, and she's very skeptical.
Yep.
And then they end up together, kind of.
Yep.
I thought it was funny that Michonne gave Rick a razor and said, "I found this. Your face is losing the war." Because it kept losing the war throughout the whole season, I think.
Hair grows, man.
Yeah, and then the previews for next season, he's got a big old bushy beard.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I am improved.
I can't grow a beard quite that thick. So
nice.
Thanks. Yeah, it's all right. So Rick I take a cue from Jack from Lost. That's how that show influenced me the most. I used to be clean shaven before that. Rick is checking hunting traps for animals, which I didn't quite notice before. And I wondered if it actually works because it seems like the zombies would mess up the traps or get caught in them.
so mean. Come on.
And then they'd be like, we got to eat zombie again. The crazy cookie woman with the foreign accent,
Yes.
who has a head for her husband, said
He's just a head.
she said that they were on their way to the Bahamas, but the airport shut down, so their connecting flight never left.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I didn't get that before, and that sort of explains why she seems so foreign, because she is. Then, yeah, the whole thing about just ahead, I'd heard that before, but I never went back and looked, and she actually did say it. He's just ahead.
Just a head.
And she also said that her husband, he wanted to feed Rick to her zombie head husband because he's slowing down and needs something alive. And I wonder if that means when the zombies don't eat, do they start to slow down? But I think it's more likely that she's just a crazy loony bird.
Right. Who's destined to be a zombie. We actually see her zombified later.
That's right. Not in this half, though, right? Or wait, it was, huh? It was the very last episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, number 8. I forgot
Too
about
far gone.
that. So that's all for the first episode. Second episode, it opens with a rat being fed to the zombies, which we later find out that Lizzie did. And I won't mention them all, but there's a lot of. It's fun to watch all the clues that Lizzie is the crazy one. And then,
including the fact that Mika says she's the crazy one.
yeah, right off the bat, she's messed up. First episode. So it's like,
That's a pretty big clue right there.
Yeah. And then I forgot for some reason the whole thing with their father Wayne being bitten, and he asked Carol to look out for them.
Yeah.
That I don't know why. Okay, then later, I was always really curious about the sickness, but one thing I didn't notice, Dr. Stevens says that it could be pneumococcal, most likely an aggressive flu strain. So basically that means pneumonia, and which I looked up, and it is susceptible to penicillin and other antibiotics, which is mostly what they went to get.
Right.
It's very aggressive, unbelievably so, but it's, what do you call it? When you accept things because it's a TV show, suspension of disbelief.
Oh, that.
Another thing I noticed, Karen, when they see her coughing after the council just had their meeting, and they tell her she's going to need to go in seclusion for a while.
Right,
She
right.
says, "Oh, David's been coughing too," and I realized that by saying that, she just sentenced him to death by Carol.
Yes,
Yep.
she did. That's funny. Death by Carol.
Yeah. Episode 3, nobody from Woodbury was on the council, I noticed. And then later in episode 8, when trying to avoid a fight with the governor, Rick says to the governor's people, "I fought him before and after we took in his old friends, and they've become leaders in what we have here." But they really weren't, that we saw.
Well,
They were
maybe
zombie
they were on
fodder.
the council. Maybe they were leaders of like the cleanup battalion.
Yeah,
or
leaders of the septic
kitchen
tank. Leaders of the zombie
time.
human shield battalion.
Oh, that's funny.
When Carol had to send Lizzie into the creepy quarantine area, and that was really sad. I remember, because she was sick.
Yes.
Well, I didn't feel in that moment quite like as bad of a parent for sending Nico off to Chinese preschool. But while I bring that up, we took him out. We took him out of that school.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I had had enough after 5 weeks. I took him out. We put him in the preschool that is taught by the same people that were head of his previous daycare, and he's so happy there.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
really happy.
He told when I dropped him off the other day, he took a hold of both of my cheeks and he goes, "Daddy, I only want to go to this school." So that made me feel
He's
good.
the right choice.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Are you teaching him also firearms and how to defend yourself?
Jenny's teaching him Chinese, but we haven't taught any stabbing techniques or anything yet.
That's
Gonna ask. He's going to be there at Walker Stalker Con, so we can ask Melissa McBride to give him a lesson.
Oh, that's
Hey,
awesome.
that's how we'll get Melissa McBride to pay attention to us. I'm going to have my kid in my hands and go up to her.
No one
You think it'll
can
work?
ignore the power of Nico.
The
Damn cute.
strategy.
I dare anyone to ignore
You're like,
the power of the cuteness. You will be
Melissa,
sucked
you're my son's favorite. I'm
in.
going to have to start showing him her picture right now.
If we can get her to guest star on Doctor Who, we have it all wrapped up.
Okay, I only have like 2-3 more pages of this one.
man.
So let's see. The Blu-ray tree zombie is from when Herschel and Carl went out to get some herbs in the forest. On the car radio, Daryl, Michonne, Bob, and Tyrese. I just listened closely to hear exactly what they heard now that we know, and it's "Survive Alive Terminus." Most of you people probably already knew that.
It's great to hear it again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's our little ad. Come for barbecue.
And then we saw the person saying it. Yeah, we got specials out here.
We'd love to have you for dinner.
Anytime. Next episode, number 4, Indifference. As they're gathering up pills, Bob says, we'll dissolve the pills in the IV, because they went out to get the pills as quick as they can and go back and cure people. He says, we'll dissolve the pills in the IV, put them right into the bloodstream. So that made me feel a little better. I always felt like they kind of short-shrifted the actual cure. And so I saw a little bit more, because in the next episode, we actually see them getting injections and we see the IV drips in the background.
Right.
So it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That same episode, I thought it was quite striking that Bob wanted to drink so bad that when Daryl tried to get it from him, Bob almost reaches for his gun. It's like, dude, that's an alcoholic.
Especially, can I just interject here? After Daryl talks to him, that was right after Daryl tells him, because you remember Bob confesses when they're working on the van, and Bob confesses that he blames himself for Zach's death, and he said, I slammed down the ball and brought the roof in, and Daryl tells him, no, it's not your fault. And then he says later, you're not going to stand alone, not no more. And my heart broke, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet. It's so incredible. Daryl's being so nice to him, and it's just the perfect thing for Bob to hear. And then Bob ruins it all by stealing a bottle of booze and nearly getting himself killed on the awning. Yeah, that was, and then the weird alpha dog standoff with Daryl.
Yeah, that was weird. I thought they were going to start kissing. But,
it was uncomfortable. It was a very crunchy moment.
For me, the most disappointing thing about that was that when Bob answered Daryl's kindness with that messed up moment, that set me up to think, and you heard me say it a lot, oh, Bob's going to really mess things up at some point. It's going to get a bunch of people killed, because he said several times he was the last people in his group twice. And then he just turned into kind of a good guy after that.
Yeah, he did.
So I'm still holding out hope that next season Bob messes things up big time, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Vindicated.
I just want to see that. Carol popped that dude's arm back into place, that couple.
Yeah.
And it made me I just think how I always see that maneuver on TV, and it always works every time. And I want to see someone try it and have it not work sometime. Here, let me do this. Ow! Nothing happened.
Do you think that it ever doesn't work? Listeners, if you know of somebody who's trying to pop a shoulder in and it hasn't worked, let us know.
Yeah, I want to know. Okay, then here we're getting to the Governor episodes. It was hard enough to feel sympathy for him before, but, I already mentioned now that he's chopped Herschel's head off. There's no way. But I still don't think that was the point of this. I think the point was just, okay, we need to have the governor come back and attack. So how is he going to get another crew, and how can we show that in an interesting, entertaining way? But I also think it was about just showing that there's no person who's totally just does everything evil. We're all just people, and he's capable of all kinds of different things, and he's a psychopath. That's it.
Yeah, he is a psychopath, but I also think that they could have maybe reduced those episodes they could have boiled it down to part of an episode or part of 2 episodes, they focused 2 whole episodes on the governor, and I'm thinking, this is actually something I would like to see what's going on at the prison, but I mean, I get the point, you know.
Even watching it all in a row, it still felt like
the
too
second
much of a detour. Yeah.
It did feel like a detour. I remember last season I was really harsh on those 2 episodes, and I'm slightly less harsh now, but still a little on the harsh side. Yeah, they could have tightened that all up, in my opinion.
I think that that's your opinion. My opinion is it was tough because they actually had to kind of rush it a bit and cram it all in there because it was a lot of story to get us to believe that he could have this whole like go in, burn Woodbury, feel like he just wanted to die, meet some people, fall in love with them, then they find a group, then he becomes the leader of the group, then he rallies them to go to the prison. I mean, they could have made a whole season of a TV show out of that, in my opinion, but we wouldn't want that because we don't want to see that much of the governor. So I feel like they did the best they could with what they had, and personally I really liked those episodes, so I felt like they were a bit rushed, but I wouldn't have wanted to see another episode of the governor, so that's why I say I feel like they did the best they could with what they had. But I know a lot of people agreed with you and just didn't even like them at all. I think Watching Dead vehemently hated those episodes.
Hey, let me ask you, do you buy that with his quick little speech about people in the prison? Do you buy that the campers would have said, "Okay, we'll take the tank and take those people out of the prison"? I always thought that was sloppy writing.
Well, here's what he did. He played on their fear. He told them, if we stay out in the open, we're going to die. And he said, I want you to be safe, and I know a safe place. And the people who are in this place, they're the same people who drove us out of our last camp and where Martinez was, their former leader. They cut my eye out. They killed my daughter. They're bad people. So if we can go in there and get them out of there, then we can be safe. And he said, I want to do this in a way where I don't think anybody has to die. We have these 2 people from their camp. We can use them to drive everyone out of there and no one will get hurt. Now, even with all of that, Lily still was not on board with it.
No.
She was like, you're a bad person. But all these other people who are afraid for their lives, and they think, and our leader just died and another person died and we're basically fucked and we don't know what to do. Yeah, I totally believe it. Yeah. I didn't think it was sloppy writing at all. And we had the same discussion when we reviewed the episode.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I have the memory of a goldfish.
Or, I remember we talked about it. At least I don't know if it was the exact same discussion, but I remember you didn't like it back then. So, like I always say, we don't have to have the same opinion all the time. So what else? Let's see. I thought it was ironic that the governor ended up killing Lily's dad with the oxygen tank that he brought back to keep him alive.
Yeah, that was brutal in front of the little kid.
Yeah,
Ugh.
poor kid. I asked her about that on stage. She said it was really hard. The governor has a picture of him, his wife, and his daughter, and the girl who plays his daughter is Kylie Szymanski, who actually did play his zombie daughter.
Aww.
She was in that picture. The next, I'm almost done. The next episode, Pete was the guy who ended up floating in the underneath, zombie Pete. He said he originally was military stationed at Fort Benning and had stayed there for a while after it all started. And I thought that was interesting because I think in season 1 they had talked about going to Fort Benning a lot.
Yes, you're right. Yeah,
maybe I would have met him there.
That was great, by the way. The image of zombie Pete held down with chain weight, reaching up, underwater. Oh, it was so good.
I think that's one of my favorite images of this series.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty great.
That's pretty good. The whole golfing off of the RV thing, I don't know if I got it before, maybe, but it was a callback from Woodbury when they used to golf. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, and Martinez,
Off of the truck, right?
Yeah.
Or not the truck, but the stacked
the
up.
wall, the tires and all that.
Right, exactly.
And when Martinez was taking him out there, he's like, the governor, he's like, I got a surprise for you. So it was like back to the old days. But then the governor had a surprise for him, which was a whack in the head.
Yep, a 9-iron.
And finally, the last episode that we watched, Too Far Gone, number 8, right before the governor finally decides to attack the prison that he had been wanting to avoid attacking because he didn't want to tear apart their new home, he said under his breath, "We'll fix the damn fences." Meaning,
Really?
yeah. And
Expensive.
and then just fuck it. And then let's see, when the governor approaches that point, Daryl says to, I think, Sasha or somebody, "We can't take him on. Go through the admin building through the woods like we planned." So I'm thinking, what happened to that plan? Like, did they have a plan? Because they didn't follow any plan.
That wasn't a very good plan. I thought the plan was like get on the bus.
Yes, because then he mentions everyone meeting on the bus, and then that didn't work out because the bus took off without him. I forget why.
They tried to wait as long as they could, but they felt like they had to get out of there.
Did they even show that? I don't think they did, though. Because we saw Glenn get on the bus, and then later we found out he got back off.
Well, we saw Glenn get off because he was not about to leave without.
Yeah, I don't think we saw the
Maggie.
bus leave, though. I mean, we did see it drive off, but then later when they flashed back to it.
I spun through it because it was brutal and I couldn't watch.
Then 2 more. So Rick gives this speech about we've all done bad things, but we can still come back. I know we can all change. And the governor then says liar and kills Herschel. And on first watch, I thought the governor was being cynical. But if Rick kicked Carol out for killing Karen and David, then he probably was lying to the governor. Can we really believe he's sincere about letting the governor stay in the prison with them?
You know, that's a good question. I want to revisit that later about
Okay.
Rick and what his decision was.
One thing about it is he did, when he told Daryl about Carol, he left her out there, he did say she's not sorry. And I think that's actually a big deal. Like if she's not sorry, then she might do it again. So maybe if the governor had said, well, I'm really sorry, I killed everyone.
No.
No, probably not. You're right.
No.
And then finally, I didn't really think about this when I first watched it, but I think it was Michonne's sword that took Herschel's head.
Yes, it was.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who else has a katana,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. Oh.
I promise that will be my longest point.
Yeah, that was about 23 points.
And I'm done with it.
Okay.
So you're number 4.
My number 4 was Herschel. I thought he was fantastic this half of the season. And, basically that's the only half of the season we get to see him at. Sadly. He's wonderful. I love him. I love that actor. He's wonderful. So in isolation, he gets the fever-reducing elderberries and sort of gets his hero on and helps to save the people.
And goes in where he could be
infected.
Just basically puts his life on the line. Yeah.
Yeah, he puts his life on the line, and the other doctor coughs in his face. I thought that was hilarious. But
we should have known that he was a dead man as soon as he did that.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
because he was going to die of the sickness, but because
he was speechifying.
Yes.
Yes, he was talking about in this life, Rick, that all we can choose is what to risk, and we risk every time we breathe. Blah blah blah. Oh, it's great.
I liked when Glenn. Somebody said Glenn made it through the night, and Daryl said he's a tough son of a bitch, and Herschel said he is, and Daryl said you're a tough son of a bitch, and he goes, I am.
Yep, he is. And he was, I thought, spectacular in the episode Too Far Gone. Very last
Yeah. And he's a sweet man, too.
Oh, he's so sweet. His sweetness just shines through. And it was awful that the most the most wise and loving person is killed by the most hated villain.
Yeah. But I also feel bad for David Morrissey, who probably doesn't get as much love as Scott Wilson.
I'm sure he doesn't. He did villains so well.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Herschel. Yeah, just seeing him he's the character that has impacted me the most, that has died.
Did you? Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Did you see the look on his face when Rick makes his speech, and at one point he just kind of half smiles at Rick? You can tell he's really happy and proud of Rick, and he's okay. You know, he's all right. He's at peace. And then Herschel, God, and then the governor says liar and badly chops his head.
Well, I'm going to play my little Requiem for Herschel just in memory one last time. You ready?
Thank you.
Here it goes.
I still think there's a plan. I still believe there's a reason.
You think it's all a test?
Life was always a test, Rick. You're like my own son, Glenn. I'm not showing you my leg.
It's important, Dad.
I just met you. At least buy me a drink first. Hey, don't disappear on me. Doodlebug, go away home. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah,
That was from our interview.
That sure was.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss him.
We'll see him in Atlanta.
Woohoo! We won't have to miss him for very much longer.
Yeah.
A couple weeks now.
Yeah, I dare you to give him a hug.
He hugs everybody.
He does?
Won't. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say that out loud. But it really seems like, he hugged me. I
Okay.
figure he hugs everybody.
No, I wouldn't say just because someone hugs you, that means I hugs everyone.
I told him I loved him, so maybe that made him. I do.
That's
All right,
nice.
your turn.
Okay, my number 4 is great zombie moments, of which there were many.
Yeah, there were.
Just in general, the zombies looked really incredible. And I had just watched Day of the Dead for Watching Dead. I'm not sure that's out yet, but I'm going to be on Watching Dead with Jim. Anyways, zombies have come a long way since then. You can still tell the influence of Nicotero, because that was his first movie where he worked special effects. But they look so much more incredible in Walking Dead. And by the way, I liked that movie a lot, but it's very campy and has Romero's typical quirks. And it was nice to come back to the grounded acting and beautiful cinematography of Walking Dead after watching that.
So that's interesting. So you're saying that his zombies have evolved?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the first zombies in Night of the Living Dead, a lot of them just looked like people who were dirty. I don't even think some of them had makeup on.
Right, right.
Or they weren't gory at all. And some of them had wounds. And then in Dawn of the Dead, probably the most popular zombie movie up until recent years, they were just green, painted green like clowns.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. And then in Day of the Dead, they looked better for sure. And you know, like Bub, remember Bub? They had that started to have that thick, gray, decomposed look, and it reminds me of Walking Dead. But Walking Dead is just so much more advanced, and they have all different styles, and they look really decomposed. And also, I think I saw this article where they show zombies from each season of Walking Dead, and you can see that they are really trying to pay attention to make them look more decomposed as the show goes on.
Depending on how long they've been zombied.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So the scene in the big spot I loved it, people complain that it didn't seem realistic, but it was realistic enough for me. There were some areas of the roof that were soggy, and the zombies didn't walk over there until they heard noises, and then all that caused them to start dropping through, which made the roof give in enough that the helicopter came through. I don't know if it's realistic, but it just was an amazing scene. And the scary fights, and there's one zombie crawling with his foot dragging behind by a thread of flesh, and Bob Stuckey peeling that one zombie's skull off.
Ew! Yes! Ew!
I loved it. The end of that episode, Patrick, after he had collapsed in the shower, wakes up as a zombie.
Yeah,
that was classic. Creepy. Part 2, when I loved how when they started, stuff started happening in the prison, just little by little. Zombies were eating people, but no one noticed. And then they'd go outside and there'd be a quiet scene of Carol and Rick walking along, gardening or something. I liked that juxtaposition. But then when the zombies did start, like the chaos inside the prison, and even just the whole quarantine area where you could hear people coughing and stuff, and it was dark and desolate, and then you'd see that some people had turned to zombies in their cells and they were reaching out. That's some of my favorite scenes, and that stuff made it worthwhile for me that they stayed at the prison longer than I originally would have liked. The amazing scene where they hit the zombie in the road when they went to get medicine, and then the giant herd converged on them was fucking awesome. Except the only thing about that is the fact that they all got away made it seem a little bit less of a threat, but it was still cool to see like Herschel go crazy on him with his hammer and stuff. And then the crazy scene where like the infected just it comes to a boil inside, and at the very same time the fences outside break, and Barry McCreary's pulsing music dun, 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 while Carl and Rick have to fight off those zombies. That was awesome.
A father-son zombie attack.
Yeah, it was good. And Rick's finally like, okay, Carl needs to fight. He can't be sheltered from this. With the Governor episodes, the legless zombie in the bathtub upstairs was awesome, and the old folks home I thought was great. Dark and creepy, and lots of dead people in wheelchairs and stuff. And then the one we already talked about, Zombie Pete reaching up from the watery depths.
Best one, in my opinion.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some good zombie deaths too.
There was one where Michonne, I mean, she does this all the time, but one in particular, I think it was, it was in the forest after they got attacked in their car, and she just sliced one's head right in half, and I think you could see brain matter.
Yeah.
in its flying skull.
Right.
What else are you thinking of? Did you
that.
have some in mind?
I have a fake one. When Michonne was at the Big Lots store and she took out the cardboard monster cutout.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
That was Frankenstein, which is a zombie of sorts, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Reanimated.
Yeah.
Out of parts.
That's right.
Parts of parts.
Dead flesh. Okay, your turn.
Okay, so my turn. I'm going to go with Rick in general, and I'm going to mention two particular things in the same episode. Actually, at almost the same time. So I'm going to talk about Rick in Too Far Gone. One is I'm going to talk about his speech. I loved his speech. I loved his speech about not being too far gone. I loved Andrew Lincoln's performance in general. He was so good and so desperate and trying so hard to hold it all together. We can make this work, but he knew that the governor would never say yes, But here's the thing, and this is the second part of this. Looking back at it, I feel again like Rick should simply have handed the prison over to the governor. And so I'm going to say it again. This is kind of what I said last time, but I believe it even more having rewatched it. He was outgunned with a lot of sick people. And if you have a psycho with two hostages, people that you love, right? You have and outside, so this psycho is standing outside your house. He's got two people you love as hostage. He's got a katana over their necks. He has a tank. He has a well-armed militia And he's saying, you know what? You have to leave by sunset. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to gather up my supplies. I'm going to fire up my Hyundai or my school bus or my Harley, whatever. And I'm going to get out of there, because by choosing to fight, he lost Herschel. He maybe lost Judith. At this point, they didn't know. They still don't have the prison. They lost that anyway, and a lot more people died. And if they had simply given him the prison, they could have regrouped and they could have come back eventually and shot the governor, because they would have known where he is and he'd be a sitting duck. Or they could have just left for good, because the prison wasn't that great a place anyway, and who wants to live long term in a prison? They could have found another place, and maybe there are whole towns or cities out there that have figured out how to group together and make it work.
There's one called Terminus.
Yeah, and that worked out real well. But my point is that he chose the wrong path. And I really think he should have just said, all right, give us to sundown. We'll figure out a way. Gone back in, gathered people up and say, you know what? We'll get him. We know that he's going to be here. We can pick him off. It's not going to be that hard. Mm-hmm. And let's just get out with what we have, take all the supplies that we can, load up the school bus, load up the Hyundai, get Daryl on that motorcycle and get the heck out of there. And if you have to come back, you have to come back. But there are plenty of places they could regroup at, and it would be okay. So that's that. There it is. I really, really felt that even more strongly watching it the second time.
When we said that last time, and I think I was leaning in that direction, somebody wrote in and said, well, how can you trust that the governor wouldn't just come and kill you right away as soon as you left? Because that's what we've seen of him before. He kills anyone he thinks is a threat. So if they get outside the prison walls, they're vulnerable and he can easily get them.
Well, if they get out of town, they have the school bus, the Hyundai, and the motorcycle. He'd never find them.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
That's just one woman's opinion.
All right.
What's your number 3?
My number 3.
Number 2.
Number 3 for me is foreshadowing. There's a couple things that seemed like foreshadowing now, especially in retrospect. When Daryl tells Beth that Zach died. Well, this isn't totally, but just little things. That her boyfriend Zach died. I noticed she's writing in her journal. Uh-huh. And then later we actually hear her reading from that journal in a later episode.
Yep.
In Lizzie's very first scene, Carl tells her they're not people and they're not pets. Don't name them. And that just really set up her whole story for the season. Beth's boyfriend is trying to guess what Daryl did before the turn, and he guessed homicide cop. But we never really found that out, right? There was that episode with Beth and Daryl that talked a lot about his past, but I don't know. It seemed like he was just sort of an aimless wanderer.
We didn't find out a profession.
Yeah. I don't think he was a cop.
I don't think so either.
Patrick told Carol that he was feeling sick, and she said, sometimes you have to tough it out. Then he dropped dead. And that was, I felt like that was sort of foreshadowing of Carol being a little too tough for everybody's own good.
Yep. Agreed.
The scene with Michonne holding Judith was just as impactful for me the second time, and crying,
Yeah.
And then we find out later she lost her own child.
Her own baby.
Bob said, used to be I drink a bottle of anything just to keep my eyes shut at night. And then in a later episode, we see him drinking some kind of like cleaning fluid or something. I forget what.
Yeah. And we also saw him eating sterno.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sterno. Gross.
And then
I can't taste it.
I've never tried it. Might be good.
No.
Bob,
no, there's nothing good that will come out of that.
He also tells Daryl, that he 2 times with 2 different groups. I was the last one standing, and I don't think we really got that whole story yet, but I hope we get more of that.
Find out why he was the last one.
Yeah, what happened? The governor promises Megan that he'll never let anything happen to her. Wrong. wrong.
And that didn't really work out that well, did it?
Nope. And neither did this one. When the governor had Herschel and Michonne in his trailer, he said to Herschel, "Nobody's going to hurt you." And Herschel said, "I don't believe that." And Herschel was right.
He is right.
Yep.
Can't trust the governor.
No, can't trust the governor. That's a good words to live by.
Acting for living.
So that's it for my foreshadowing one.
Love it. Those are good. My number 2 is the arc of Carol. So when the show began, she was such a completely mousy, beaten down person, and I actually found her annoying. But now she's completely transformed into this badass. And I said it before. I think the writers love writing for her, and they love writing for the characters interacting with her, and Melissa McBride is really a strong actress. So even when she makes the crazy decisions like killing Karen and David, which I still maintain was a crazy decision, I really didn't lose sympathy for her. I understood why she did it. I didn't agree with it, but I understood. And I always wanted her to come back. And I loved how honest she was with Tyrese. By the way, looking back, I can't believe I ever thought that Carol didn't kill Karen and David. Even when Rick asks her, she says to him straight up, "Yep, I did it. I sure did."
Well, we
Rick.
thought she was or you and later I thought she was covering for Lizzie. Yeah,
Lizzie, absolutely. But looking back on it, I'm like, she wasn't covering for Lizzie. She says, "Yeah, Rick. Yep, I did."
In that moment, I did not think she was covering for Lizzie, and then I proceeded to be a total dickhead on our show about that. So I'm sorry. Even though I was right, it still wasn't warranted.
No. I mean, looking back on it, I can't believe I ever talked myself into thinking that she was covering up, because she was just so honest, and she's a very honest character. She says exactly what she thinks.
But wouldn't she also do something like that to cover for a kid?
Yeah, that would be in keeping with her character too.
I think.
Yeah.
Take it on herself.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Absolutely. But it was just hilarious that she's like, "Yep, I did."
Yeah. Yes, I did.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, I want to say, you mentioned, you're sympathetic towards her. To me, she's like the friend that went wrong, and you want to see that friend get their act together. And I just strongly feel that it was not right to kill them, especially maybe if they were really suffering, she could have gotten their permission to do it. Let me help you, you're going to die. Let me put you out of your misery. I don't know if that would have worked, or at the very, very, very least, talked it over with the other people.
Oh yeah, it was wrong. And straight up.
And then the worst part is, like I said before, she doesn't seem like she's sorry. And now Tyrese has forgiven her. But when Rick, maybe you're going to talk about this, but at the end when Rick drops her off, were you going to talk about that some?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Sure.
Because he said, "You know what? If it was just me and Carl and Judith, I wouldn't want you around." And then later when he's talking to Daryl, he says she's not sorry. So now I wonder, just because Tyrese has forgiven her,
Rick?
I have a feeling he will, but I kind of wish he wouldn't.
When she saves his ass.
Yeah, and she's got his daughter too.
And she's got his daughter.
Right.
Hey, here's your daughter that I saved.
Right. What if she'd accidentally, we had Judith for a while, but Lizzie killed her. Sorry. Anyway, can I come back to the camp?
I feel bad about it.
I am sorry about that. We had Judith, but she was a threat, so I killed her.
No.
She got sick.
It's rough to be a toddler.
What if it was a baby? Would she have done that to Judith? Let's say Judith was the one that got sick. Carol went off and killed her. We can't let her be exposed the rest of the group. I don't know. I get mad when I think about that, because I totally love Melissa McBride's acting, and I love the character, and I don't even want to see the character off the show, but I think that was a really, really bad thing that she did, and shouldn't just be swept under the rug.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot could be forgiven in the apocalypse.
Yeah, that's true. If I was in that situation, I don't know. I'd want to know, hey, can we just at least set a rule that you don't go killing any of our friends without talking to me about it first?
On the other hand, Rick killed Shane.
Well, Shane tried to kill Rick.
True, and Rick said that,
Yeah.
but I mean, he popped off and killed Shane without discussing it with people.
Yeah, because Shane attacked him. What do you get? Hold on, I gotta go talk to the group for a second. Can you wait right here?
Wait, right here. Well, he did bring the gun with him because he thought it was